James Boomer Reeves here with my first ever AR-15. Not really. 20 years ago, there was a saying, if you're buying an AR-15, mind your ABCs. And that meant Armalite, Bushmaster, Colt. And those were 20 years ago. Those were the only three companies that were worth a shit. And the Bushmaster XM15 E2S, also known as the Patrolman's Carbine, was the most economically priced and the baddest ass of all of them. It was like, real M4 without paying like $1,500 for a Colt 6920. Bushmaster, obviously, they've been coming and going in flux in terms of ownership, and now they're owned by Franklin Armory. So Franklin Armory, as you saw at SHOT Show 2024, did like a retro line, and they brought back the XM15 E2S. I was really thrilled about this. I called this one of the top 5 carbines at SHOT Show 2024, but I said, but who knows? Like, it might not be worth a shit because, it's basically a new company. They're just using the Bushmaster logo. I like the fact that they're paying homage to the Bushmaster heritage, but are they paying homage to classic Bushmaster build quality? So it's funny, I make that comment on video, Bushmaster sees it, and they reach out to me and they say, James, we dare you to bust one of ours. They think that this is in fact going to be even better than the original Bushmaster Patrolman's Carbine. So we're out here at a Thunder Ranch class in South Louisiana. We got Jack Daniel running it. I'm going to run 1,000 rounds through this gun. I haven't cleaned it, I haven't lubed it. It already has 1,500 rounds down through the pipe because this is the one that was at range day a year ago at SHOT Show 2024. So we are going to see if new Bushmaster beats old Bushmaster. Come with me on the range. Let us find out together. I'm not sure if the 1990s was the greatest decade ever or just the prologue to the other contender for best decade of all time, the 2000s.
Let me bring you up to speed.
I'll turn this damn bus around. That'll end your precious little field trip pretty damn quick.
Hold on to your butt.
Before girls with low-cut boot flare, American Eagle jeans, and Von Dutch hats kicked off the new millennium, we had some true cultural and technological marvels in what I think may have been the best decade to be a teenager in. We booted up the 90s with America Online in 1991. I realize probably 50% of you don't know what the hell I'm talking about because today all of America is online, but back then we had to pay a subscription and plug our landline phones, also extinct, into our computers and dial into an access point just to get on the internet. CDs and DVDs were the Daniel Defense of the era. Cassette tapes and VHS were the Palmetto State Armory of home entertainment. Beavis and Butthead on MTV was basically identical to watching Hop and Brass Facts on YouTube. The 90s never left my biscuit limp, and it closed out the decade with the most bomb.com carbine of all time, the M4. Today we're looking at the M4A2 Patrolman's Carbine from Bushmaster. It's a throwback to a time before quad rails, before LPVOs, before tactical yoga pants. It raises the question, why are you people obsessed with this already obsolete version of an obsolescing platform?
Your boy's different.
Are you stupid or something?
Why buy 1984 Dune on Laserdisc instead of Blu-ray 2021 Dune? We'll further discuss this strange and obtuse corner of the gun community after we walk through this rifle. The M4 wasn't born in a vacuum. It came out of real-world complaints, allegedly from American soldiers in Mogadishu during Operation Gothic Serpent in 1993, who pointed out that 20-inch M16s weren't ideal in hot, dusty cities filled with pissed-off AK-wielding tweaker locals. So enter the M4. Shorter with a 14.5-inch barrel, a collapsible stock, the M4A2 variant retained the M16A2's fixed carry handle and iron sights. This was your do-it-all go-to rifle from the late 90s through the height of the global war on terror, and it always had better exit interview scores from troops who saw combat than even the Chili Mac MRE. I'm being serious right now. A survey of vets who saw combat action overwhelmingly praised the M4. Now, in the civilian world, there was a saying, mind your ABCs. That's Armalite, Bushmaster, Colt. If you were buying an AR-15 as a civilian in the 90s or 2000s and it didn't have one of those names on the lower, it was going to be more problematic than a marriage to Charlie Sheen. Bushmaster was arguably the best dollar for dollar, cheaper than Colt or Armalite while being easier to buy in numerous configurations. While perhaps not quite the same standard as Colt, Bushmaster rifles were still solid and proven by Blackwater PMCs in the Middle East. My first AR-15 ever was a Bushmaster XM15 E2S M4A2 Patrolman's Carbine when I turned 21. I shot thousands of rounds through it over the years with no failures and great accuracy, but Bushmaster's run came to an abrupt end after the Sandy Hook settlement. Around $70 million, if I'm remembering right. Remington, who owned Bushmaster at the time, got caught in a financial crossfire. The brand goes dark. Fast forward to today, Franklin Armory swoops in, brings Bushmaster back from the dead. But is this revival simply a slap the sticker on the box redo or a project worthy of the Bushmaster name? So far, it's promising. I already reviewed the Bravo Zulu from Bushmaster, new Bushmaster I should say, and I was very impressed. At SHOT Show 2024, I saw something that made me nostalgic myself. Bushmaster showing off the XM15 E2S M4A2 Retro Patrolman's Carbine. I called it one of the top 5 rifles from the show, but I was skeptical about the quality and I voiced that in my top 5 video. Bushmaster literally dared me to test it on Instagram, so I took him up on it. Now, with the M4A2 Patrolman's Carbine, Bushmaster's tapping back into their roots and into ours. I just wrapped up a year-long review of the M4A2 Patrolman's Carbine. Let's talk about the specs before we get into it. Back in the day, commercial spec Bushmasters were popular, but not mil-spec. It used a 1 9-inch twist barrel, which is ideal for stabilizing lighter rounds, but mil-spec is a faster 1 7 twist, and that's what this new version uses. 1 7 is optimized for stabilizing the full range of .223 from 55 grain M193 to 77 grain OTM. Already a big upgrade. The 16-inch barrel is chrome-lined and phosphate-coated, mil-spec. It uses a carbine-length gas system. Some might say that a mid-length gas system would be ideal for a 16-inch gun, but I suppose it's more period correct to use carbine length here. Upper and lower receivers, 7075 T6 forged aluminum, mil-spec. Upper is an A2 style fixed carry handle with a built-in rear sight. Bolt carrier group is chrome-lined phosphate. The bolt itself is magnetic particle inspected and high-pressure tested. Mil-spec. I'm not sure the original Bushmasters were MPI or HPT, so this could be another point for new Bushmaster. Nice looking lower. Marked XM15 E2S, faithfully. The standard A2 adjustable sights with the 2 different peep apertures and the carry handle. So cool right now, right? Everybody loves the way this looks. Of course, you've got some pretty suboptimal options if you want to mount an optic on it. Regular ass A2 birdcage flash hider. You've got your regular front sight base. You've got your regular cheap shitty furniture. We got a little sling loop attached to the gas block here. M4 profile barrel, which of course, you know, a lot of people these days are like, oh, you should be using like Medcon or a Hansen profile or whatever the case may be, because these were cut for grenade launchers. So you got kind of a weird profile, but it's for the overall aesthetic. This is meant to be not only functional, but principally a faithful M4A2. You guys know I'm not a sentimental or an aesthetic gun buyer, but this does look kind of cool. Stock is a car-style 6-position A2 pistol grip. The lower uses all mil-spec parts. Handguard, the classic M4 style with aluminum heat shields, no quad rail, no M-lock bullshit. Weighs just 6.1 pounds, very light by today's AR standards. No rails, no lights, no bloated furniture, bare bones AR-15 on Ozempic. And it ain't gonna be tariffed neither, because it's 100% US made. But is the reborn M4A2 a legit throwback rifle or a Gen X cash grab? Bushmaster actually sent me this rifle straight from SHOT Show 2024 Range Day, told me it already had about 1,500 rounds through it at the SHOT Show Range Day event, so it had more dude's fingers in it than Bonnie Blue by the time I got my hands on it. My plan was to put at least another 1,500 rounds through the gun to see how it held up. Now, 3,000 rounds as we sit here today, not a huge round count in the grand scheme of things, but like I always say, you might not learn if a rifle's great in 3,000 rounds, but you'll definitely figure out if it's a piece of shit. I brought the Retro Carbine Bushmaster to 2 Thunder Ranch Urban Rifle classes. I was co-instructing one, so it was only used as a demo gun, but I did burn through a full case of ammo over 2 days as a student in a Thunder Ranch course in the swamp south of New Orleans, which is where most of this B-roll was shot. Quick side note, Thunder Ranch does touring classes now, and if you have a range and enough students, they've done a few in New Orleans. They are, of course, excellent. They'll come and see you. Jack Daniel, my neo-FUD clandestine lover, loves this rifle.
Yeah, it's fine, and it's shooting fine so far. It seems to be reasonably accurate.
One of the last groups of the day. This is 10 seconds from 50 yards and everything in the 10 ring. Even this little guy just barely in there. That counts. Not really a iron sights guy, but this gun has not let me down.
One of the best targets on the line.
Nice, thank you. There's nothing on it to break, run out of batteries, or lose zero. Day 2 with the A2 here at Thunder Ranch, Louisiana chapter. As I mentioned, the guys from Thunder Ranch came out here. We've been running urban rifle. We are almost done. We have 1 hour left in the class. No malfunctions whatsoever. Everything working in perfect A2 mediocrity. In other words, it's reliable with that shitty GI trigger we all know and love, with that stiff safety that we're all familiar with, and with that crappy bolt release that brings back those good memories of using the old 80s, 90s A2. In other words, the only complaints that I have about this gun is that it's an A2. Everyone thinks it looks super cool, everyone loves shooting it, but we have our last set of drills. We got 200 rounds to go before we put over 1,000 rounds. If lost count, we're gonna be probably closer to 1,100 rounds without cleaning over 2 days. Let's finish it up. $1,000 rounds. Oh, she's smoking. Smells funny over here. A little bit like whenever you burn out a vacuum cleaner. Is this one as good as the original? Well, if my time at Thunder Ranch, this 2-day course shooting 1,000 rounds through it, it's still smoking right now. We just finished up. If my time with this rifle is any indication, we had no failures whatsoever. It ran flawlessly. Again, it's a very simple rifle, but you guys know that getting into it, you want this because you want the M4A2 retro aesthetic. It looks good, it works good. I was extremely impressed with it. God, get me the fuck out of here with these mosquitoes. Woo. So on paper and in practice, my preliminary verdict is that this is a mil-spec rifle that seems like it's good to go. Honestly, it might even be better than the Bushmaster I had 20 years ago. But here's where this otherwise sunny review takes a dark turn. I hated shooting it. That's not a dig on Bushmaster, it's more of a reality check for the M4A2 resurgence. It shouldn't surprise anyone, but compared to even a budget AR-15 with an 000 Optic of the Orient from Amazon, let alone a full-blown, kitted-out modern rifle, this thing just doesn't perform the same. I don't know who needs to hear this, but yes, aligning a stick in a circle is slower and less accurate than using a box with a red fairy trapped inside of it or a tube that makes the target look bigger on top of your rifle. During one of the classes, we ran a timed course of fire with a group that included cops and some of my buddies who are Army Rangers. I think I posted the 3rd or 4th best time, which is respectable considering I was running irons against guys with Instagram-tricked rifles. But I had a few misses that make me look worse than a Trump assassin, and I mean either of them. Suboptimal, and I know I wouldn't have missed if I weren't using irons under time pressure. Personally, I don't get the retro rifle thing. I mean, I guess I get it because for Eugene's sake, I drive a 70 Series Land Cruiser, so I totally understand drip over drive. That truck drives about as well as this rifle shoots. Not bad, but for the same or less money, you can get something that performs way better, although I guess you're in a Camry. Bushmaster sent me an invoice for something like $1,200, which I believe is full MSRP for this rifle. Obviously, I'm sending it back because I don't think I'd pay $1,200 for a plain mil-spec rifle probably ever, but they've got it listed on their website for around $1,000, which is a little more reasonable. To be fair, Bushmaster doesn't seem to grasp the influencer pricing model where I'm supposed to pay less than you, but whatever. I've had this gun for over a year. I get the feeling they're passive-aggressive pissed at me for taking this long to review it, but is $1,000 fair for this? $1,000 street price still feels steep, especially when you can get what's probably a much better rifle like Bushmaster's own Bravo Zulu for under $850. Charging more for less seems backwards, but maybe I'm the idiot here because even PSA is selling their H&R Retro line for $1,200 now. Here's my review. This seems like a solid rifle. Is it a rifle I would buy for $1,200? Definitely not. But clearly there's a market for it. If Bushmaster can keep it under $1,000, now we're talking. It's mil-spec, it runs, it's simple, it looks good, it's awesome. Unfortunately, Bushmaster wasn't very forthcoming about the manufacturing process when I emailed them for more details. That is to say, I don't know if they're building these guns simply from parts sourced elsewhere, manufacturing some components in-house, or somehow making the whole thing themselves. And I don't know what their QC process is. But based on performance, it's been solid. My only real criticism is less about the rifle itself and more about the people buying it and what they're using it for. Shit, I wouldn't spend extra money on an outdated rifle platform, but then again, 1911s are still the most popular handgun in the U.S. If this thing gets your blood pumping or completes your chocolate chip GWAT cosplay for your office Halloween party, go for it. It seems like Bushmaster might have actually outdone themselves. Thank you to Ventura Munitions, who sent all the ammo that we used in this video, and thank you as usual to the best sponsor in the world, Top Gun Supply. Make sure you check them out. They are your online shooting sports superstore. We give away 6 gift certificates. That's $1,500 worth of Top Gun Supply gift certificates every single month to our supporters on Utreon, Player, Subscribe Star at the $5 level or higher. We don't rely on companies like Bushmaster. Hell, you guys heard I had to pay for this rifle myself if I wanted it. We need you, so please consider supporting us at Subscribe Star. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day.